Hi, I'm Thomas, the Accidental DM, and today we're taking a look at Ironsworn Starforged. Now, I know I'm a little bit behind the curve on this one. I just recently kind of found out about Starforged and then kind of through Ironsworn. But Starforged is currently on a Kickstarter campaign. It's only got, I think, a day or two left on it. But it's one that I just got really, really excited about, and I wanted to kind of take a jump into it and kind of take a piece of it as well. And so I did back this program, and as part of that, then you do get then opportunity for some kind of the playtest materials, kind of a beta version of it before it comes out, I believe, next spring. But let's go ahead and take a look at it together and see what completely is in then Ironsworn Starforged. And so we'll jump over then to the PDF to kind of take a look at it. Once again, one of the things that kind of always kind of jumps at me is definitely usually a lot of art. And again, this is one that part of the reason I kind of thought, okay, let's get into this, is the art that I see from this. And so it's just absolutely kind of some stunning visuals that are in here to kind of really fire up the imagination, to kind of get us going and saying, all right, so this is kind of an awesome thing. Now, for those that may not be too familiar with the kind of the Iron Sword and how it works, it's a solo game, primarily a solo game, but it can also be used then as a GM-less game as well, or can even be used as a GM, and its own particular system based upon Iron Sword. But from what I've kind of was reading in kind of the campaign materials, has been changed up a little bit to kind of really fit with some of the sci-fi aspects of it. So let's go ahead and stop me just rambling on a little bit about it. Let's kind of take a look right into it and take a look right at the beginning into the table of contents. Now, it is a little bit kind of an extensive table of contents, so I'm not going to spend as much time kind of going through it all. And again, it's kind of a preview edition, and so some of this might stuff change. So we see then kind of in chapter 1, we have the basics, and so we see some of the things that we would kind of expect, kind of the welcome to the Forge. So I'm assuming that's just kind of talking a little bit about the overall kind of setting, etc. Making moves, which is kind of an important part of the system in terms of how that works, kind of setting up kind of skill tests, if you want to kind of talking about that. The action rolls that are a part of it, and how momentum works. Momentum is kind of again another key element then of the system, and enabling you to kind of be able to come back from a failed kind of roll, failed kind of save. So that's kind of chapter 1 on the basics. More kind of progress track, legacy tracks, marking legacy, rewards, gaining experience, spending experience. Okay, so this sounds like kind of the leveling up pieces of it, kind of the condition meters. We see some of what we expect then from the Ironsworn as well, the health, the spirit, and supply being there again. Impacts, misfortunes, vehicle troubles, etc. Assets, different type of assets that kind of give you bonuses, kind of helps you out a little bit. Oracles, okay, and this I think is really kind of going to be the kind of key component for the system, as it was an Ironsword. It's really the way in order for you to be able to play without a GM or to play it solo. These oracles kind of give you then a gradation of probabilities, as well as not just that, but also kind of gives you then the opportunity to gives you prompts in order to figure out, well, what's going on. And I think they're kind of vague enough to kind of really give you a good idea of a lot of different ideas to kind of figure out, well, where is it then that's happening in the story at this particular time. There's navigating the Forge, the flow of play. Chapter 2 seems to be about launching your campaign. So prepare for liftoff, prep is play, choose your truce, okay, kind of some of the background information that you would have, creating your character, building then a starting sector, begin your adventure. Okay, then chapter 3, Oracle. So this would be kind of a big part of the book in terms of all those possibilities then of what might be happening. So we see how to use the Oracle. We see things on the core Oracles, action, theme, descriptors, and focus. So kind of the different areas you can kind of look at. Section on space encounters, section on the various planets, different types of planet, desert planets, furnace planets, grave world. I must be kind of like a dead world type of thing. Ice world, a Jovian world, not quite sure what that would be. Jungle world, ocean world, rocky, shattered, tainted, vital, planet size. So you're getting a good kind of mix then of some of the different places that you can go. There's a section then on settlements, a section on derelicts, vaults, location, themes, miscellaneous oracles, oracle arrays. And then there's appendix up the back as well, kind of sample encounters, kind of a move glossary, moves, and adventure moves. So let's just kind of jump in and kind of see what we get then with this Welcome to the Forge. In Ironsworn Starforge, hereafter referred to as Starforged, probably going to be a lot easier to just talk about that way. You are a spaceborne hero sworn to undertake perilous quests to explore uncharted space, unravel the secrets of a mysterious galaxy, and build bonds with those you meet in your travels. Most importantly, you will swear iron vows and see them fulfilled fulfilled no matter the cost. So bonds are kind of the way it kind of gives you kind of bonuses and connections then to groups of people, because a lot of times if you are playing it solo, you're kind of out there on your own, and so it's one of the ways then of kind of being able to heal up your character by having forge these bonds with people and kind of being in fellowship with them at certain times. And then the vows are the kind of the plot points that kind of move us from place to place, that you would have kind of a starting vow that you would be working with as kind of the main focus of this. And the character creation, if it's anything like Ironsworn, the character creation then is going to very much be a part of kind of helping you establish what that overarching vow that you're working on. But then as you go through, you develop different layers of vows that you make, or promises, or things that you intend to do, and those would have different levels of importance to you. And it's about then being able to fulfill those vows, or if you don't, there's also then kind of negative consequences to that. Then we can see here modes of play. Starforge offers 3 ways of play. It's kind of, I talked about it before, kind of solo with a group, or with a GM. So we've got guided, which would be the one with the GM. A cooperative is without a GM, so the book being the GM again, or solo, again the book being the GM, but you being by yourself. Okay, so that's Welcome to the Forge, using the rule book. So just kind of a little bit of summation that it looks like on the various different chapters that we see. Of chapter 1, the basics, you're reading it. This is an introduction to Starforge, the fundamentals of the game, kind of what we'd expect. Chapter 2 then is launching your campaign. This chapter includes a series of exercises to get your Starforge campaign up and running. Chapter 3, the Oracles. The chapter contains Oracle tables, which are inspiration, engine for playing Starforged. You don't need to read this chapter. It's helped to give a look to get a sense of the tools the game provides. During play, you refer to these oracles when you need help determining the outcome of an action. Gameplay in depth, not included in the preview edition, but will include extended details upon a device for playing Starforge. So it's not in this particular one, but when you get the full book or the PDF, however you want to do it, that'll be there. Foes encounters, also again not included in the preview edition. This chapter provides you with an array of cunning foes and perilous encounters for your Starforge campaign. Okay, let's just jump in a little bit, take a quick look at the setting, just to see what kind of the world is kind of built in. And I think as with Ironsworn as well, you have a campaign that you can work in, but you don't have to use that, and you can kind of flavor it however you want. But let's just take a look then at what's being called here the Forge. The adventures are set within the Forge. There's a globular cluster in orbit around your people's home galaxy. It is 1,700 light years above the galactic plane, a bright island in a dark void. Vast clouds of interstellar nebula span the depths of the Forge, interspersed with denser clouds of vibrant interplanetary dust and strange energies, and is a chaotic galaxy racked by fiery stellar storms and unpredictable gravitational currents. So we're getting an idea that this is kind of an area that's ripe for a lot of adventure type of thing. It's not calm, it's not mellow. There's things happening. It's very dynamic. It's moving about. So that's kind of nice. Regions of the Forge, there's the terminus. You people land in the region following the exodus from their home galaxy. The Outlands, last few decades, your people have pushed further, deeper into the galaxy, searching for planets. Expansive, a few bold pioneers have delved the far-flung reaches. The void beyond the Forge. There are only a few isolated stars and vast gulfs of nothing. Okay, we get a little bit kind of a picture of how that's kind of working itself out. We see down there our Milky Way galaxy, and then it's kind of breaking up into different areas. Okay, so that's kind of cool. I think giving us a kind of a good look then at what this world is supposed to be looking at. Then mechanics and fiction, and how they interact. Starforge is a game using various mechanics such as rolling dice. Starforge also relies heavily on the fiction, which they imagine characters, situations, and places within your game. You will envision actions and events in ways that consistent with the dramatic fictional reality you have forged for your story and setting. Okay, and it gives us a nice kind of a visual representation of how that works. If the fiction and the mechanics kind of working together, feeding on one another, looping back to one another to kind of make this all work. So it is then following along in the veins of Ironsworn itself. It's a heavy narrative game. There are mechanics that are a part of it, but it is primarily kind of a narrative-based game with some of the mechanics thrown in, and with a lot of spontaneity and possibilities for kind of opening up and imagination. That was the word I was kind of looking for as a part of that. Okay, Iron Vows, again, heavy part of this, and it's kind of carried over from the Ironsworn, Iron Vows. So the people for people of the Forge, an Iron Vow is sacred. When you you hold a piece of iron and declare your solemn promise to serve or aid someone or to complete a personal quest, your honor is bound to that vow. Those who undertake these sworn quests are called Ironsworn. Abandoning or recounting an iron vow is the worst sort of failure. Okay, so kind of the importance then of that. Section here on kind of your character, and this is all still in Chapter 1. You're getting a good heart of what's happening in this game, it seems, already in Chapter 1. And then I guess everything's kind of be broken down a little bit more in detail later. So yeah, let's now jump to Chapter 2 and take a look, launching your campaign. Okay, prepare for liftoff, choose your truce. Okay, again, just stunning art. Beautiful. Okay, in this chapter, you'll launch your Starforge campaign by deciding the truths of your setting, creating a character, and generating a starting location, and swearing an iron vow to undertake a perilous quest. Okay, so prep is play. Starforge is designed for jump-in gameplay. Whether you're playing solo, teaming up with others, or facilitating the game as the guy, you don't need to prepare for a session. Instead, you can pick it up where you left off and play to see what happens. All right, prioritizing player safety. Whether you're playing Starforge alone or with others, it is important to prioritize care for the player's comfort and safety over game narrative or mechanics. Safety tools help facilitate collaboration and create awareness to ensure. Okay, so we have the section there on kind of, we see a lot more in a lot of modern takes on RPGs about making sure everyone feels comfortable in the situation and are okay with what's going to be happening. And so Starforge then is going to kind of give you some examples and tips, it looks like, on how that works. Getting started, choose your truth. Okay, tells you where to go, create your character, building a starting sector, beginning your adventure. Here's returning to an existing campaign. If you completed the exercises previously and returning to an established setting with new characters, you can shortcut or ignore many exercises in the chapter. Okay, so just jump right into it, basically. Okay, excellent. Let's just take a look at choose your truth real quick. In this exercise, you set the tone and background of your campaign, decide the nature of your version of the Forge. These are the truths. When you're done, you have key aspects of your setting sketched out and a backdrop of challenges to help fill your adventures. Allow 45 to 60 minutes for this exercise. Okay. Default assumptions, perilous future, lonely future, diverse future, far-flung future. Okay, so giving you some kind of options for those sorts of things as they kind of work themselves out. How to select truths. Truths category. The following section includes 14 categories to help define. Cataclysm, Exodus, communities, AI, war, life form, horrors. You can select your truth from each of the categories in one of three ways. Mix and match these techniques as you like. Choose a truth, roll for a truth, customize a truth. Of course, lots of opportunities to kind of change things up and kind of make it work with how you want to play your game. Okay, let's see. Let's just jump into tips for managing this exercise. Now let's get past that. Cataclysm. Okay, so just an example of one of the things that might happen. The sun plague extinguishes the stars in your home galaxy. Communities, dangers around, but there are safety numbers. Many ships and settlements are united under the banner of one of the founders' clans. Religion. Our gods fail us. We left them behind. Our faith is as diverse as our people. Okay, so just giving you some kind of examples then of how some of that might work. Let's see. Create your character, what you need. You need a Starforged character sheet and a set of asset cards. We'll take a look at those because those also kind of came with this preview edition, so we'll take a quick look at them, just to get an idea of what some of those look like. Character sheet is used to track your stats, conditions, and experience. Assets represent notable traits and resources used by your character. They're formatted as printable or pre-printed cards, etc., etc. Okay, your character scope. You are human. The people of the Forge are human. Starforge does not directly provide options to play aliens, robots, uplifted animals, or other non-human characters. The actual mechanical aspects of your character are relatively light. It can be themed to accommodate non-human entities. So play who you want. The assumed setting then is going to be primarily human, but play what you want. Okay, let's see what else we got in here. Okay, so just a little bit of a character sheet to kind of take a look at. So let's just zoom in just a little bit more to see if we can get a better look at this. All right, so we got name, pronouns, call sign, characteristics, momentum, edge, hard and iron, shadow, and I can't see with that because that health thing is in the way a little bit there. Oh no, because health is on the side, so that's one of your other categories. Spirit, again, that's one of the other mechanics then around. Background vows, kind of as you're completing it, kind of ticking off these areas kind of here in the center. Tracking momentum, misfortunes, lasting effects, etc. Okay, so we get a little bit of a look. I'm sure at the back of the book there's probably, like there always are, kind of a full sheet, but this is just kind of a brief kind of look at one of them. And so let me back this back out again. All right. Okay. So character creation summary. That's kind of nice. It kind of provides you kind of the way to work through it. Looks like kind of 11 different sections to kind of go through. Okay. Let's skip down and take a look more. Okay, just a building starting sector. In this exercise, you'll prepare a starting sector. Okay. So there's a sheet then to kind of help us build that out, so you get a kind of an idea of how that works. A sector is a settled, explored area of space, and the fiction of your setting, sectors, or names, and provide the people of the Forge a common means of identifying a location or mapping domains of a power or faction. For example, someone might say Bleakhold Station is the Devil's Maw. Your character need more precise charts or coordinates to actually pinpoint that station in the Devil's Maw, but it is a start. Okay, managing this exercise. All right, let's see, choosing your starting region. Details, put a marker on this page so you can come back to it and jump to the settlement. So a settlement name, location, population, authority, settlement projects, and it gives you just a little, kind of a quick look. Bleakhold, orbital settlement, population hundreds, authority is corrupt, and the project is mining and the black market. So that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of what some of those might be. So building a sector, beginning your adventure. So an inciting incident is the problem at the beginning of a story which propels the protagonist into action. Everything up to that point is backstory. It's the inciting incident which begins your campaign. At this point, you may already have a problem or mission in mind for the start of your campaign, so jump to it. If not, consider the narrative fodder from the previous exercise, the selective truce, quest starters, paths, backstory, starship, team, etc. Again, just kind of getting things going, and kind of the inciting incident. This is not your overarching goal. This is just the thing that kind of gets your campaign, gets your story beginning and moving. You still have then that larger kind of bow type of thing in the background that you want to be looking at as well. Let's just jump into chapter 3 on the oracles, because that does play a big part. Now, as I said in the chapter 1, this is not one that you have to read all the way through, but kind of a general feeling, because this is the one that kind of gives you then the prompts for where it is that you want to kind of take things. So it gives a section on using the oracle. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about an oracle, this I think kind of captures it. It's kind of reminiscent a little bit of kind of Stanley Kubrick, but then with the writing that's on it, I think, yeah, it just kind of, I want to go to the old oracles at Delphi type of thing, but in kind of a modern twist. I think that kind of fits it very, very nicely. Okay, using the oracle. In Starforge, an oracle is anything that generates random results to help determine the outcome of an action. All right, it's the GM basically happening here. An aspect or a setting or narrative event, you can use preferred prompts while playing the game, etc. The oracle on the following page are in the form of random tables and are customized to the tone. And I think, one thing, you're given all these tables, but you can always add your own. I mean, if you're kind of basing it off of something in particular that you're wanting to do, or having a specific theme that you're going for, you can build your own random tables. You can find them. Internet is full of random tables, so I don't think you have too much problem with that, but they're giving you one in the book that's very much fitting then the area that we're dealing with. If you're playing without a guide, you can ask the oracle and use the tables and generators in the chapter to help reveal details and solve actions of play. So just let's take a quick look down. So we got this one on settlements here, location, planet side, orbital or deep space, the population of it, and the terminus outlets, expansion. Remember, that's the different levels then of civilization that we see in the Forge itself, and it kind of gives you an idea of how many people that would be kind of a part of that. Okay, so let's take a look down. Miscellaneous oracles, story complications. So key locations threatened or made unsafe, old enemy resurfaces, time pressure suddenly increases, unexpected enemies appear. So just kind of giving us a little bit kind of an idea of that. Oracle array. Starforge oracles offer plenty of options for answering questions, generating locations, counters, but these options can slow down your gameplay as you consider which tables to use for a specific situation. Yeah, it can. Don't get overwhelmed. You'll soon develop your own preferences, plus using established facts or intuition without needing to ask the oracle will keep things moving. But if you want to play with all the toys in the oracle toy box while leaving some of the moment-to-moment decisions in the hands of fate, an oracle array is your answer. An oracle array is a collection of oracles you help assemble to answer questions for a specific situation or location. The key to an oracle array is your 6-sided action dice. To create an array, you'll assign the values of that die 1 to 6 or more. Okay, so it's basically kind of setting up then a graph, a chart then of kind of how to make those things work. Okay, so we see down at the bottom then a little bit of an example of oracle arrays. Okay, so exploring the haunted derelict, 1 haunted feature, 2 to 5 derelict feature, description and focus. The troubles in the Haunted Darrow, excuse me. Filling in the blanks. Arrays are one of the methods of structuring an oracle prompt. Another is to construct sentences or phrases. So I swear to action, a theme of a descriptive focus. Okay, so just kind of giving you kind of prompts of how this kind of work. And again, it's about not getting bogged down and being able to kind of get things moving quickly. Is kind of what it was saying above. So use what you need. If these are helpful, great. If not, use the rules that work for you. Okay, appendix, kind of a sample encounter of how that works. Components of an NPC, because the gameplay is Starforged, center on the abilities and actions of your characters. NPCs are primarily represented through your fiction rather than mechanics. They don't have stats, assets, or meters. Instead, samples NPCs. Because if it's anything like Ironforged, NPCs never really roll. It's the bad guys never roll against you to hit. It's you kind of defending against what they're doing, and then how well you succeed or don't succeed. Hit, strong hit, weak hit, miss, kind of determine then how that kind of works. But you're the one that is doing it. But then they give you, let's see, so Adrift Pirates. So it gives you some opportunities for features and things like that. So you get kind of an idea of how some of these work. Firestorm Raider, Servitor Bot, Metallic Shell, Clicking Worrying Innards, attend to protect humans, protect self from harms or damage, armor plating, etc. Okay, appendix, move glossary. Okay, so just some of the terminology that's being used, especially if you're new to Ironsword. Okay, this would definitely probably be helpful. Make progress twice on a hit. If you score a hit, add plus X. Kind of an important one that you'll probably go through a lot. Again, there's an appendix for the various moves, which is helpful. Kind of a list of tables. I believe there is another PDF. We'll take a look in just a second. Kind of gives you examples of kind of laid out a little bit better for easier access instead of constantly having to be referring back to the major book as well. Exploration moves. Again, this kind of same sort of thing that's happening there. Make it discovery, etc. Overcome destruction. And I think, okay, let's see what we got at the very end of this, 240. Let's take it all the way to the end. All right, and I think we're at the bottom. Okay, so just some examples of things. When you say for pay the price, that's one you're probably hitting a lot as well. Okay, let's jump over and take a look at some of the assets as well that comes in. So this is part of, if you do back the campaign right now, I don't know once it's over whether you have access. There's not, probably will, I don't know, can't say. But back in the campaign does give you access to this preview edition as well. So we do see some of the asset cards that we would having. So we can kind of take a quick look at a couple of these. So let me just zoom in. So command vehicle, you got your starship. You have then the different upgrades that you can have. So when you first get it, it's the first one that's kind of blacked in, or if there's not one blacked in, then you can choose. But in this case, we have a starship. On multi-purpose starship is suited for interstellar and atmospheric fight. It can comfortably transport several people, etc. You can, when you finish an expedition dangerous or greater and score a hit, this journey strengthens your ties, your ship, and any fellow travelers, and your allies may mark one tick on your bond's legacy track. When you withstand damage, you may re-roll a plus heart if you do endure stress, -1 on a weak hit or miss. So just kind of giving you some of the mechanics of how to use then this particular starship, and then those other boxes then, they're going to be set up specifically when you kind of upgrade. And you kind of see a little bit of an upgrade over here. In engine upgrade, your vehicle finely tuned engine speed, your travels when you undertake an expedition, plus edge, you roll a strong hit with 6 on your action die, take +2 momentum, and then some of the other boosts that you can get when you enter the fray. Choose one before rolling, maneuver, add +1 and take +1 momentum, a boost, take +2 momentum, etc. So just kind of some of those cards. And so this one is specifically then, it looks like kind of some assets then having to do with your ship, research modules, sensors arrays, support vehicles that you might have. Now this is for the past, so this, not quite classes, but it's kind of the idea of classes of who you are. So a Blade Master, so Blade Master here, we got a Courier here, an Empath down here. When you read the intent, when you read the intent, emotion, or memories of a nearby being, roll plus heart. Okay, just kind of giving you some of those options. Fated, Mercenary, Veteran, Voidborn, Weapon Master, etc. Then these are some of the companions that you might have as part of that as well. So even though if you're playing solo, you can still have these other people kind of being a part of what's going on and happening. So if we take a look then at the combat bot, your combat bot fights at your side. When you strike, aided by your bot, add +1. If you clash, take +1 momentum on a hit. And then some of the upgrades that could happen with your combat bot as well. Void Glider, that's interesting. What's a Void Glider? Your Void Glider cruises in your starship's energy wake. Okay, so it's kind of the dolphins in the wake of a ship type of thing. So that's kind of cool. A utility bot, a symbiote down here as well. Okay, so just some of the other different options that we kind of have. We have kind of a homesteader deed. Okay, marked. Once you fill 5 boxes on your quest legacy track, envision the title, sigil, uniform, and tattoo you bear in recognition of your achievement. When you compel or make a connection among those who know or recognize your reputation, add +1 and take +1 momentum. Okay, so some bonuses for having kind of done well. A revenant. Once you face death, when you're at 0 health, endure harm or face death, add +1. Okay, so just some of those kind of bonuses that are part of that. Let's jump over and take a look then at what's being called kind of the play kit, because it has some of those move reference sheets for kind of easier look, easier handling. Okay, there is a character sheet, a connections worksheet, a sector worksheet, and a data readout. So what do we do when we face danger? What do we do when we secure an advantage? What do you do when you're wanting to check your gear? Okay, so that's kind of helpful in kind of gameplay, having it in one place so you've got one thing to kind of look at instead of having to find the specific page that you're looking for. Connecting moves, exploration moves, undertake an expedition, explore a waypoint. Okay, so that's kind of good. Let's see what else we have. Combat moves, entering the fray. When you initial combat or forced into a fight, envision your objective, get a rank, and if the combat includes discrete challenges or phases, set an objective with a rank for each. Then we also have then facing defeat. So when you're not doing well, when you abandon or deprived of an objective, envision the consequence of this failure, clear the objective, and pay the price. Which is, like I said, you'll probably hear that a lot. Suffer moves, losing momentum, enduring harm, enduring stress. When you face mental stress, shock, or despair, suffer -1 spirit for minor stress, -2 for serious, or 3 for major. If your spirit is 0, lose momentum, etc. So it's kind of giving you the rules of the game and kind of an easy to kind of follow happening. Pay the price, the fate moves. When you suffer an outcome of an action, make the most obvious negative outcome happen. Or ask the oracle, or roll on the table below. So you encounter a sign of a looming threat. Your action causes collateral damage. A new enemy is revealed. You are harmed. Roll twice. Ooh, that's not good. Okay, and then kind of what to do with the Ask the Oracle when you ask to resolve questions. Then you have then kind of the odds chart down there at the bottom. Almost certain, likely, 50-50, unlikely, small chance, etc. Okay, then we have then the character sheet itself. As I said, edge, heart, irons, shadow, and wits. Those are your stats, your progress bar for your quest, your bonds, and your discoveries. Okay, yeah, we kind of took a look at this earlier. And then, okay, nice spot to kind of write out those different things here as well. So this one is mainly and then kind of set up, it looks like, for your bonds here. And then the one for the sector map, sector, region, factions control, the various locations that are part of it, and then data readouts, which I'm not sure that is a bunch of numbers. I wonder if it's kind of random tables automatically for you. I do not know, but I'm sure that was somewhere in the book that we looked over previously, but we just kind of skipped over it. But that's a lot of data readouts there. But anyway, that's Ironsworn Starforged. Kind of a quick look. Like I said, it's got I think a day, maybe 2 days left on the Kickstarter if you're kind of interested. I'm kind of excited about this. I just kind of discovered, I think the Kickstarter has been going for about a month, and then there was kind of the play test and all of that. And I've been kind of searching, finding as much information as I can. But this has kind of got me excited, and especially in terms of kind of solo play. It is its own system, so it's not like some other things where it's kind of the book is acting as the AI. This has its own system as well. But with the way the Oracle works, I'm sure it could also be adapted to whatever game system that you want to play as well. But anyway, this is kind of a first look then at Ironsworn. There we go. This is a first look then at Ironsworn Starforged. If you have any questions, comments, please put them down in the description below. If you like what I do, please please subscribe, please share this video with others. And if there's anything that you want me to take a look at in the future, let me know that as well, because this is just a great opportunity for all of us to kind of go out, look at, and enjoy RPGs in whatever fashion we can find. And so until next time, thanks for watching.